All right, listen, this is not one of my normal videos. I just saw this and I was like, I'm gonna record it. I'm not even gonna, practice anything or get anything set up. I'm literally just going to hit record and start going. Now, as a lot of you guys know, I really like ChatGPT. I've been using it for a long time, but I've recently switched over to Claude. I got a Claude Pro subscription. I've been using Claude Cowork a lot. I've been using Claude Code a lot, and I really like it. And I was just browsing, I just randomly came upon this, and I saw this right here, which is Claude by Anthropic in Excel. It immediately jumped out to me because I saw the rating of 2.4 and I was like, this isn't good. This can't be good. So I gotta try it. I literally have not even downloaded it yet. You are gonna do that with me. I have a sample data set that I just pulled off of Kaggle, and I'm just gonna see what it can do. And we're gonna see what it can do together. I'm really excited because this, I just found it. And so we're gonna try it out together, and maybe it's amazing. Maybe it deserves that 2.4 rating, but I'm gonna ask it to do some basic stuff and we'll see what happens. So let's come right over here. Let's go down here to get it now. All right, I just went through like a 20-step process to log into Microsoft to get here, but we are finally here. It may be because I'm now on a Mac. I switched over. I'm gonna make a video on the difference between PC and Mac in the future because it's been really eye-opening. But let's go over here. We're gonna open in Excel. And of course, I need to allow it. Thanks for that. Now let's open this up. And I'm gonna full mode this bad boy because I wanna see. So right here we have Claude right in your notebooks. Let me go ahead and log in. And it looks like we're gonna have this option of Claude right up here. I am just figuring this out as we go. This is fascinating. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. I just had to like sign my life away. It said you can have access to this, 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 and this. I'm doing this for you guys, but normally I would have like, not given them access to everything. But now it's giving me a little bit of information here. It says make a pivot table, select your cells and ask questions about it. Let's go ahead and hit next. Build financial models. This is, I guess you could call this a financial model. It just looks like a formula to me. And we're gonna describe exactly what we want and it's gonna build it for us. Let's go ahead and hit next. It's gonna debug and fix errors. And we can open Claude anytime with Control Option C. It does say that this is in beta, which I 100% guarantee it is with a 2.4 rating, but we're gonna try it out. Now that we have this up and running, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna get this data set that I had pulled up. All right, in this data set is just Apple global sales data set. I got this off Kaggle. We're just gonna go ahead and try it. Here we'll just ask some questions. We'll do it exactly like it wanted us to do. And we're gonna see if it gives us actual outputs and can actually build us things. I'll start really simply. We have some really good data here and then we'll see what happens. Now I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. You'll have to excuse me. I don't have everything set up. So I'm using like my main monitor way over here. Let's go ahead and just get this formatted a little better. Now we have a ton of information here. We have the sale date, we have the year, quarter, month, country, region, city, the product, category. I mean, this is a ton of information. Let's keep scrolling over just a little bit. And we have things like return status. Looks like there's an error on this. We won't look at that too much. And then we have the revenue in USD. So I'm gonna ask it some questions here and let's just see what happens. All right, so let's bring up Claude. First, I'm just gonna have it explain this workbook for us. It says, walk me through the structure. That looks good. We're using Opus 4.6. We can change that to 4.5 or Sonnet 4.6. I'm gonna use their latest one. Let's go ahead and run this. It looks like it is reading it in properly. This is really good. It's giving us a lot of information. I'm going to expand this window quite a bit just so you can like really see it. But it gave us a ton of information. Let's go at the top. It says Apple Global Sales Data Set. And it says we have some key inputs like transaction ID and date, A through E. Then we have the geography, product, pricing, volume, and currency, and that's all towards the left. And here we have some calculated fields like discounted price USD. I guess that's the logic behind it, as well as revenue USD and revenue local currency. Then we have some analytical dimensions. So this is just giving us kind of a breakdown of this. This isn't anything exciting because this is super simple for any AI system even 2 or years ago. So this is not anything new or anything exciting. Now let's give it something hard. So let's come in here and let's kind of highlight everything. And I'm gonna say, take this data I've highlighted, which is all of it, and give me a breakdown of the products that have made us the most money. I want it in a visualization, I need to spell that right, and a pivot table. So it's going to ask us to do, I'm asking it to do a lot here, first off, because I basically just highlighted the table. I don't know if it even reads this in just by context. I'm assuming it does, but let's go ahead. It says Claude wants to create a new analysis sheet. Let's say always allow, just so it can continue to do that for us. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Thanks for the double usage, Claude. Let's see how it runs. Now, this is a little bit more difficult. I wouldn't think this is like super difficult, simply because all it's doing is creating another sheet, taking the data, putting it into pivot table, using some pre-built-in things. In just a second, I'm going to, let's see, it looks like it may have encountered an issue here. I'm gonna get it to do some kind of higher level thinking, not just, hey, build this small thing for me. I'm gonna ask it to do multiple things at the same time, and we're gonna see how it handles it. So it went ahead and it created this for us, and that's very good. And it used the category for the rows. So we have accessories, AirPods, watch, iPad, iPhone, and Mac. And then we have basically the sum of units sold, sum of the revenue, and the average. And here's our visual, and this looks good. Let's see if it's doing anything else while we're here. So it looks like it did it pretty well. I mean, this is a very basic request, right? Anybody should be able to get in here, make a pivot table, and make a pivot chart. But if we click into this, it's going to change to our pivot chart fields. And if we come right over here, it's really a lot of the same information that's in here, which is basically what I wanted it to do. And it created this bar chart for us. And so if we look at this, it's gonna basically reflect a lot of the same information. Here is our Mac, and that's around $8 million in sales of this data set. I just pulled this off the internet. I don't even know what this data set is, but it looks like it's summing that data properly, and then it's also visualizing it properly as well. The next thing I want to do is a little bit more subjective, right? Creating a pivot table, I think is, fairly easy to do for anybody, any human. Let's see if it can look at the data and find issues with it. I think it's going to be able to identify it, but I don't know if it's going to be able to fix it itself. So let's come in here and say, I want you to analyze each column and find any issues with the data. If you find any issues, I want you to copy the entire data set, put it in a new tab, and clean the data, and then explain what you did. Let's see if it can do this. This one is a lot more subjective. Cleaning data is kind of an art form in some aspects. And so let's see if it can kind of understand that. I mean, this especially is obviously messy. This would be something I would pick up immediately. If we scroll through here, I haven't looked at everything, but we may want to clean these NAs up. Maybe you want to replace that with something. This is kind of an area that's pretty subjective. So let's see how it does this. I'm gonna go ahead and run this. And again, I'm using 4.6. This is by far its kind of most intensive model right now. If you want to use a lot less tokens, because of course you use a lot of tokens with Claude, if you want to do that, then go with a previous model like 4.5 or Sonnet 4.6. Now after this, if it can do this fairly well, I think I'm going to be pretty impressed. I do think that in the future, a lot of what we do, especially in tools like this, will be using AI. As of right now, there isn't like a really good option for AI. Don't even get me started on Copilot. Just don't. But we don't have a great option right now for AI within Excel. And so who knows, this might be the one that is really good. I haven't stress tested this, right? With real data sets, large data sets could absolutely break this completely. Or it may just even be reading in a larger amount of data, could use a lot of tokens, and you can't even do 1 or 2 tasks without reaching your limit. I don't know. We are on, the frontier with Claude right now, and we're just trying it out. So let's see if it's able to do this. I'm gonna let this run for just a second. I was rambling because I'm excited, but let's let this run for just a second. Let's see what it does. All right, it has completed its task. Let's see how it did. Now, The first thing that you'll notice is it says, I've created this cleaned data sheet with 11,500 rows. I don't even know if that was in our, how big our original data set was. Let's go ahead and go all the way to the bottom. Yeah, so you have 11,500 rows. So that's a good sign, at least, that I have the right amount of rows. Now, if we just scroll back and forth, I can already tell that there are some things that are different. The first thing that I'm noticing, and this may or may not be intentional, but we have this sale date right here, and it actually basically made it a general data type instead of something like a short date to keep it in that date format. And date formats are important. Like the data types are really important within any database or any Excel type tool. You are telling different systems, here's what it can be used for. And so over here, we had it as a date right here, but it changed it for some reason to that general. I don't know why. I'm gonna keep it like that because that's what it thinks is the best. Now let's go in and see what data quality issues we had. First, we have this corrupted text encoding, which we absolutely did. Let's see what it did to fix this. So we have this customer age group 45 to 54, and let's scroll over and let's take a look. So here's what we had before, and it looks like it did actually fix this. So I have 45 to 54, 18 to 24, and let's go back. And here we have 45 to 54, 18 to 24. So I think that it correctly got this encoding issue done. I really think it actually did a pretty good job. Now, I would add a filter to this. I'm gonna, double check this. Let's do this while we're here. Let's see if it got all of them done properly, and it looks like it did. So that's a really good sign. We also have a month mismatch with date. So this said recalculated the month date from the sale date. 352 were off by 1 month. 27th showed January when the date was in December. So if we scroll back, we have this sale date, and then we also have a month. And what it's claiming is that there was a mismatch between the day and the month when it actually broke it out. Now, I'm not gonna go back and check, but that is a real data quality issue where you have mismatching columns, right? Somebody says they're 75, but their birth date says they're only 73. That's a data quality issue, and so you'd wanna fix that. It may have done that, and maybe it needed to convert this to a general data type in order to do that. I don't know, but it's saying it fixed that. So, we're gonna go ahead and give it the benefit of the doubt. And we also have inconsistent storage format. So removed SSD suffix, so all storage values are unified. 1 terabyte of SSD, 1 terabyte, 256 gigabytes SSD, 256 gigabytes. Now let's go back. This is the last one we're gonna check, and then we'll be done. But let's go over to storage real quick, right in here. And let's find our storage. All right, so storage is right here. Let's open this up. And so we have 1 terabyte, 128 gigabytes, 2 terabyte. So it looks like it's standardized this. Let's come back. And let's take a look. I'm going to come right here. I'm gonna add a filter just so we can look at it. And let's look at our storage. Here we have 1 terabyte and 1 terabyte of SSD. All right, standardization and kind of standardizing your data is 100% a great data cleaning thing. I don't think this is correct because it's very possible that the 1 terabyte is not SSD. And so it's making an assumption here that because this could be, what is it, HDD? I can't remember before solid state drives. But this is like the old style with the disk. And it very possibly could be that these are two completely different things. And so I could just go in here and I could prompt it and say, hey, these are not the same things. We don't want them to be matched, switch it back, or this isn't something we want to change, and we can fix that. But this is where, just having understanding of your data is really important. It made some assumptions here. I'm gonna give it, again, the benefit of the doubt, although I do think this is kind of an error in my opinion. If I'm scrolling down, we also have missing customer ratings, and they just left it as is. And at least it's telling us to do this. Sometimes you wanna fill in those values with some default value, or you wanna populate that in some way, but we're keeping it as is, and then it's giving us some other information. Overall, I don't think I'd give it a 2.4 rating. As of right now, I would give this a solid 4. The reason I'm giving it a 4 and not any higher or any lower is because I think that it did do a really good job. I mean, Claude in and of itself is a great tool for data analysis. I'll be coming out with lots of videos on how to use Claude Cowork, how to use Claude Code, things like that. But integrated in the tool like this, I think it did fairly well. Here's the only real issue, and this is something I might cover in another video, is using larger data sets. When you have multiple data sets, when you start joining these data sets together, you need to start creating custom formulas and things like this. That's where things can get really tricky, and AI can sometimes have trouble with that. We saw that with Copilot when it first came out. I mean, Copilot was a mess. Copilot was not good, but this is pretty decent. I think this is worth testing and trying out. And I literally just saw this, randomly, and I was like, I'm filming a video. And so here I am, just randomly filming a video. I didn't get changed into my stuff or anything. I am looking at myself and I feel a little silly that I'm wearing a hat. But I was like, I gotta get this. I gotta try it. I'm just gonna do this live and see what happens. And overall, I think it did pretty well. I think that when it comes to structured data like this, there's gonna be a lot of use for AI, but it's gonna really come down to, do you know the data well? Do you as a user understand the context of this data? And then later on down the line, it's gonna be really important to create these semantic models of our data in order to give it a lot of context to let it know, here's what we need, here's what we want. And that is gonna take, just as an enterprise, a long time to create. These are not overnight things. We're looking at 3, 5, 10 years before a lot of adoption of these types of things in most companies. But as just a plug and play for Claude, I think it did well. I think it did good. I will make more videos like this on tons of different AI tools in the near future because I'm diving into so many and I'm trying to keep up, and it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. And so if you are interested, try this out. Create an account, try it out, see if you like it, see if it works for your use case or not. Thanks for joining me on this random video that I just decided to record. I hope it was useful or interesting. Maybe you didn't even know this existed. I did not, but it makes perfect sense, and we'll see more tools like this coming out, and we'll see how they go. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.